Okay, so let's rehash a take I had on the NBA bubble at the time because I picked the Clippers to win, like a lot of people actually did. And again, I don't like how people clown on them losing to the Nuggets so much because, again, if they had faced the Lakers and lost to them, I can accept that, right? Being wrong. But nobody really expected them to lose to Denver, even people who didn't like them or didn't think they were going to win, but whatever. The point is that the actual championship people try to diminish. It's a Mickey Mouse ring, this and that. I would consider it pretty much normal and equal and fair because, again, if the Clippers had won, I would have said that's a good solid ring. I wouldn't have diminished it. So just because people maybe dislike the Lakers or they want to diminish that, right, I have to give them still the same credit because everybody was playing under the same condition, right? It didn't just benefit them. It didn't just, hurt their opponents or I don't see how it leads to that outcome. If the Bucks had won, right, it would still be good. If any other team would have won, it would have still been good. So, or you would have to diminish it then the same, no matter who won. So it's like a selective fallacy. They say, oh, but they played in the bubble and it's Mickey Mouse ring, but that would apply to everybody. Whatever conditions there were there that maybe made it harder to win or easier to win, then everybody was in that same circumstance, right? Not just the Lakers. And I even identified a further problem with this is the fact that not only would it not have helped the Lakers, like here's how it could have helped the Lakers. That, okay, they got maybe a bit of rest as LeBron was getting older, although we've seen that's not really much of an issue for him. And Anthony Davis got a bit of rest that maybe prevented him from being injured. But so if that's all you're going to say is it's a free pass from injury issues, the extra rest and delay of going there, then I would say that's a net positive. Okay, I don't want it to come down to injuries anyway. If that would have been, oh, Anthony Davis would have gotten injured, right? I wouldn't want that to be the defining factor anyway. And again, Kawhi and Paul George, who have injury issues of their own over the years, right, maybe avoided them as well because that's not what it came down to. They were both healthy. There's a clean slate of health. That might be the only advantage, but it really should be an advantage for everybody then. And then it maybe could have even been a disadvantage for the Lakers from this perspective that home court didn't really exist in the bubble and they were obviously a top seed. So they had to play without home court advantage effectively, right, for the whole bubble. So that made it arguably harder for them, not easier because they were a higher seeded team. And that even shows maybe with the Bucks because the Bucks got upset by the Heat, and the Heat made it all the way to the final. So it kind of shows you if there was actually home court advantage, like under normal circumstances, maybe that wouldn't have happened, and maybe that was part of the reason why the Heat made it to the finals as a 5 seed, I believe. And sure, the Heat made it to the finals again later against the Nuggets, so it kind of shows it wasn't really a fluke, and they're kind of just one of those underdog overachieving teams. But still, I would say like that partly explains it that the higher seeds have a disadvantage in the bubble because all the home court that they worked for is now out the window, and so it makes it easier for teams to potentially upset them because it doesn't matter as much anymore. So again, not only did it not make it easier, it arguably made it even harder for the Lakers in particular. And again, it's an equalizing factor that everybody played under the same conditions, so it really you shouldn't hold it against one team, right? Whoever won, you would have said the same thing then, or you're acting like, oh, it somehow made it easier to win that ring, but then why didn't somebody else do it?